Have you ever heard of two brothers so bold, so fierce, so unstoppable, that they shocked an entire city? This is not just any story. This is the story of Shimon and Levi, the sons of Jacob, the great forefather of the Jewish people. And this is the story of how they stood up for their sister in a way that made the whole world tremble. Once upon a time, in the ancient land of Canaan, Jacob, the grandson of Abraham, lived with his large family. He had 12 sons and one daughter. Her name was Dina. Dina was kind, curious, and brave. One day, she went out to explore the nearby city of Shechem. But something terrible happened. The prince of Shechem, also called Shechem, saw Dina, and instead of treating her with respect, he took her against her will. He brought her to his home. He did what he wanted with her, caused her pain in many ways, and she had no say. And then, he wanted to marry her. He said he loved her. But that's not how love works. Shechem left Dina locked up in his palace and went to his father, Hamor, the king, and said, "I want to marry this girl. Can you go to her family and ask them for her hand?" Shechem and Hamor came to speak with Jacob and his sons. They said, "Let us marry your daughter, and let our families become one. We'll share our lands, our homes, our businesses. We'll give you what you want. Just say yes." Jacob hears that his daughter has been kidnapped, and he is silent. Why? Because he's waiting for his sons to return from the field. He wants to act wisely. But when Shimon and Levi, two of Dinah's older brothers, hear the news, their hearts burn like fire. This was their pure sister, Dina, we're talking about. Shimon and Levi were only teenagers at the time, just 13 years old. But they were strong, and more importantly, they were determined, and not just determined. Together, they were unstoppable. Shimon and Levi had a plan. They said, "We cannot give our sister to someone who is not like us. We are a people of God. If all your men circumcise themselves, like we do, then we'll agree." Shechem and Hamor were so desperate to marry Dina that they agreed. The whole city of Shechem, every man, was excited about this plan too. They went through this painful procedure, thinking they'd win peace, land, and riches. But on the third day, when the pain was strongest and the men couldn't move, Shimon and Levi took their swords, just two boys, entering a city full of grown men. They walked through the gates of Shechem. No one stopped them. No one could. They struck down every man in the city, every single one. They killed Hamor and Shechem. They took their belongings, their cattle, their spoils. Justice had to be done. Shechem had stolen their sister, and no one was going to get away with hurting their family. They found Dinah in Shechem's palace, but she was ashamed to leave. She was so embarrassed. Shimon told her that if she were to go with them, he would marry her. Those days it was allowed and more common for a brother and sister to marry. Dina agreed, and they brought her home. It was a shocking day, a day when everyone, even the surrounding cities, realized that the children of Jacob were not to be messed with. But not everyone was happy. Jacob, their father, was upset. He said, "You've caused me great unrest. What if the nations around us attack us? They will wipe us out." But Shimon and Levi answered, "Should our sister be treated like a stranger, like nothing? Are we supposed to stay quiet while someone hurts her?" Jacob doesn't answer. Just that moment frozen in time. Jacob was wise. Shimon and Levi were bold, and both had reasons. God told Jacob to go to Bethel, a holy place, and build an altar to offer sacrifices and serve him there. Jacob gathered his family and said, "Get ready, change your clothes, leave behind anything connected to the city of Shechem." The smell, the memories, it all had to be left behind. It was time to start fresh, time to follow God's directions. But from that dark moment in Shechem's house, one thing remains. Dina had a baby girl named Asenath. Jacob, not wanting anyone to harm or shame the child, sent her to Egypt to be raised in secret by Potiphar, under God's protection. No one knew her true identity. Jacob left a medallion on a chain on her neck containing God's name. Years later, when Joseph, Dinah's own brother, became a ruler in Egypt, he would marry Asenath. He married his own niece, the daughter of Dinah, and their children, Ephraim and Manasseh, would grow to become two of the great tribes of Israel. Shimon keeps his promise to Dinah. They get married and have a child named Saul. Shimon and Levi are a dynamic duo. When Joseph, who was sold to Egypt and rose to become a powerful ruler, met his brothers again, he knew one thing. If Shimon and Levi stood side by side again, they could destroy all of Egypt. So what did Joseph do? He made a clever move. He took Shimon and held him prisoner. Why? Because if Shimon and Levi were allowed to team up again, no one could stop them. Not even the strongest empire on earth. Later, before Jacob passed away, he himself called them brothers, not just by birth, but by mission, by determination, by spirit. When these two stood together, nothing could get in their way, not even an entire city. He spoke to his sons and blessed them. But to Shimon and Levi, he gave not just blessing, he gave words of caution. Your anger is fierce, he said, but don't let your anger control you. He didn't take away their strength. He didn't say they were wrong for defending their sister, but he reminded them, power must be used with care, even if it's for justice. And do you want to hear something amazing? The tribe of Shimon became teachers, and from Levi's children came the tribe of the priests, who served in the holy temple. Moses and Aaron, the ones who stood closest to God, are fourth generation from Levi. That same passion, that same fire became something holy. So what can we learn from Shimon and Levi? That standing up for what's right is good, that protecting your family is important, but even more, that strength and passion must be guided by wisdom, that we must always ask ourselves, is this what God wants? Because every one of us has the power to be strong, like Shimon and Levi, and every one of us has the power to grow wise, like Jacob. So the next time you see something unfair, something wrong, remember, you can speak up, you can make a difference, but always think carefully, pray, ask for guidance, and act with a heart full of truth. That's how heroes are made. Thanks for watching. If you like this story, don't forget to click that like button, share it with your friends, and subscribe so you don't miss the next amazing adventure. Tell us in the comments, what do you think about what Shimon and Levi did? Was it right or wrong? And which Bible character would you like to hear about next? See you next time.